Okay. We'll call the meeting in order. Kelly, if you'll take roll call.
Peter Boyer, Mayor.
Present.
Tim Chicken, Council.
Present.
Dan Sabrowski, Council.
Present.
Joy Shane, Council.
Present.
If everyone rise for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There you go. Thank you.
I was waiting on that. It's gonna work.
I wasn't even going to sit down.
All right, so Garrett, this can be kind of intimidating. This is not only is it, you got us putting you under the gun, it's the public is here also, but I don't want you to feel nervous. Just answer honestly. And that's all we're concerned about.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I know that doesn't help much because I've been on the other side. I've been there before. So it can be really nerve wracking, but what we're going to do is I'll just start off. We got a lot of candidates to go through tonight. So or applicants. So we want to get started, but we'll go round robin. I'll start and we'll just go around and ask the questions and it'll be that, right?
Perfect.
All right. Well, cool. Well, let's jump right in then because we're like I said, we got quite a few candidates coming tonight. So what motivated you to apply for the vacant town council position?
I've had this fascination with government for a while. I would like the town of Bar None. I've been here, I've lived in Bar None for a year. I've lived in Casper my entire life. So being able to help out on a smaller level, it's an interim spot. So I think just putting my name in the hat to be able to help and serve the community is my big thing there.
Cool.
Hi. Are you able to attend regular town council meetings, work session, and special meetings as needed? And do you anticipate any reoccurring scheduling conflicts?
I do not anticipate any reoccurring scheduling conflicts, and I should be able to attend all meetings except for there's 1 week in November of that Thanksgiving weekend that I will be out of town for.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Town council members are often expected to attend community events such as Volunteer Appreciation Day, Easter egg hunt, 4th of July events, and other town functions. Are you willing and reasonably available to participate in these events? Usually we just make the mayor do it.
Pretty much.
But we all are, asked to attend if we can, when we can.
Definitely. I don't have any big scheduling things. I do have 2 very young children, so they come first and foremost to me, but as long as that doesn't interfere.
A lot of times, great kids.
Yeah. Like a lot of like the Easter egg hunt, the 4th of July events.
Yes, sir.
And the volunteer appreciation and town cleanup are great too because they put the work. So.
He said they're little, they're probably,
Teach them a work ethic.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, do you have any actual or potential conflicts of interest that could affect your service on the council?
Other than my normal job, but that shouldn't be a conflict of interest. I'm a quality control inspector for Mesa Power Solutions.
Yep. Perfect. What do you see as the town of Bar None's greatest strengths and greatest challenges over the next 5 years?
Greatest strengths, I would say, for a smaller community. So having a tight knit community, letting them help out, be a part of those functions. I think that's one of our greatest strengths. And then greatest challenges, being able to keep that small community culture, but also grow the town and increase the community size, I guess, is what I would say.
So keeping that small town feel, but growing the town also. Yeah, that is a big challenge. It is a big challenge. We don't want to lose that, obviously.
Right.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. What current town project or initiative interests you the most and why?
Great question. Not prepared on that. To be honest, I don't.
To learn about them.
Yep. to learn about it, Tim said, yeah, I'm just not fluent on that side.
Thank you.
Thank you for being honest.
Yes.
If appointed, what would your top priorities be during your first year on council? I guess this might be a question we can segue into a suggestion we had. If you're not on the ballot, this seat would only be in through November,
Correct.
unless you chose to run as a write-in candidate.
Yeah,
So what would your top priority be in that potentially limited time frame?
interacting with the community, trying to fill roles or step into spots as needed. I understand as town council, you have 4 people and then the mayor, and that can be a thin stretch. So being able to step up and help out where I can to the best of my ability, that would be my main priority with that short amount of time.
Okay.
Describe any experience you have with budgets, financial oversight, or making difficult financial decisions.
Very simple. It's just my home and family budgets. That is my experience. It's very limited there, but I also carry only my house debt as well in that budgeting. Being able to manage money on a family level is all different than community level.
Still difficult.
Yeah, it's still a task. So responsible spending. Let's start with the first part. That's a big question.
Can you restate that question?
What do you believe are the town's most important fiscal priorities?
I would say the community side for me, just because I have young kids, so the parks on that side, making sure people have places to take their kids that are well maintained. I would also say we're in probably a drought year, so the water could be an issue at the end of the year. And that can be a strain on town resources and then in turn, family resources through the housing.
That's a good point.
So the second part is, how would you balance community needs with responsible spending?
Obviously, can't overspend the budget, even though we're in severe national debt and they think we can.
That's the federal government. They can get away with a lot. We don't print money here.
At our level, that can't be done. So obviously, prioritizing and executing what town need, what you're hearing from the community, so the town needs there, and then taking those priorities and pushing the budget to your high priority levels, and then your low priorities can get pushed back.
How do you envision Barnum's future growth? What role should the council play in planning for growth, economic development, and maintaining the town's character?
Obviously, town council is a little bit dictated by voter choice. So whatever the voters see as best for the town in the long term would be the direction it would go. Growth wise, and how to maintain that culture, showing up to events, having those community events, so the people who have been here for a long time can interact with the new people and show that kind of support to the community. Does that answer that question?
Yeah. Council members often hear differing opinions from residents. How would you handle a situation where your personal opinion differs from the majority of your constituents?
I think on my level, personal opinion does not necessarily matter on the side of majority rule unless it would interfere with ethics for me. That would be the only time I would struggle with that, is if it's an ethical choice.
Okay. Thank you.
Tell us about a time you had to make a difficult or unpopular decision? How did you approach it?
I make pretty unpopular decisions at work.
Say your QC, so.
How,
I ended up having to push new processes and procedures that technicians or assembly technicians don't necessarily like, but it is for the good of the company or the good of the product to make sure we have a good product. So the approach on that is building those relationships. That's the first goal, is to have good relationships and build the leadership capital with the assembly technicians. So when you have to go up and push that hard piece to them, they will back it. And then also making sure they understand why, not just, hey, we're gonna do this, and it doesn't matter if you like it or not, but understanding the why behind the decision being made.
response?
Mhm.
Good response.
Yeah. What do you believe is the proper role of a town council member in relation to the mayor, town staff, and the public?
I would say the town council member is that kind of the intermedium for the people. And they're there to help the mayor with any tasking. I mean, you're one man, you can't run everything on your own. It would be like military leadership, right? So you have your main head guy, and then that will get dispersed out, and his tasks can be dispersed out through his other officers. So they're that intermediate between the people, the mayor, and then also making sure everything stays ethical. It's kind of that, what is the word I'm looking for?
Keeps them in check a little bit,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah,
Like checks and balances?
yes, sir, check it out.
Mhm.
How would you prepare for meetings and stay informed about issues before the council?
Stay informed about issues. I need to get sped up on all those. Obviously, I wasn't ready for that first question. So get sped up on all those issues, and then obviously being out in the public, going to those public events, you'll hear people talking, and if you're building that leadership capital with those people, they'll end up being comfortable around you and sharing their concerns, even if they don't come to council meetings, you'll still hear the concerns. And then obviously getting with other council members and getting all their input and knowledge behind it as well.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever served on a board, commission, nonprofit, or governing body?
No, sir.
Okay.
As a council member, there may be times when confidential information is discussed in executive session. How would you handle confidential information?
It only gets shared in the room to the people in the room. It should never go outside of that room.
What happens in executive session stays in executive session?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
I mean, by statute is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The reason we ask that is we get this, like, some people don't realize how actually serious executive session is, and it can get you in a lot of trouble. It could get counsel.
Yes.
We don't want legal trouble. We want people who do not have loose lips and sink ships, right? So, when you take the oath of office, you will swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of Wyoming, and faithfully perform the duties of your office. What does that mean to you?
By the letter to me, how it's written, how it was meant to be, and there should be no opinion that sways that Constitution.
What qualities or experiences make you a strong candidate for this appointment?
I don't think I have necessarily any experiences that would make me a strong candidate for this position. Quality wise, I family, country, God are what drives me. And I would like to keep pushing those values and help others.
Great answer. I'm glad I get to ask the last one.
Yeah, it's easy.
It worked last time too. What questions do you have for us?
Yes. What would be your goals in the next 2 to 3 years for the town of Arnett?
I'm gonna be exiting.
Yes,
I don't know if you know that or not.
Yes.
Assume you do, but I'm gonna be exiting. But you know, I've been talking to Tim, I've been talking to council, and kind of the direction we're looking at is, we want, one of the big goals that we're gonna do, and this is gonna take quite a while, is to start annexing south. So right now, currently, our police department is outside of the town boundaries, and we need to put it inside the town boundaries. Kind of a big deal, not that big of a deal, but kind of a big deal. It's weird, I guess, more
Yes,
than
sir.
anything. So that's one thing. The others that we're looking at is we want to get some infrastructure into the
Water system.
yes,
Yeah.
the water system, but I was thinking up Salt Creek. Couldn't think of it. Up Salt Creek in those areas, open up for some possible development. And the other one is that we're currently working with Robert McMurray to build some kind of, what do you call it? What would you call them? Estates,
Ranchette?
urban ag, ranch.
Urban ag, like-
Something like that. It's basically larger lots, but not huge, like 2, 3, 5 acres.
The outskirts of the.
Yeah.
Well, you Vista West, you said you're from Casper,
Yes, sir.
but you know where Vista West is, where they're like 1.5 to 3 acre kind of things, that kind of thing
Okay.
out here. Just a thought, yeah.
So that's probably put us out about, I'd say about a year, maybe year and a half.
Yeah.
And beyond that, I'm gonna leave it up to, if that guy, if he gets elected as mayor. So, I try to have as much influence as I can because I want the town to prosper. Obviously, I live here, but eventually that hat's gonna go to someone else and help them take up that torch, carry it forward and on whatever the town has planned. So anyway, good question. Really good
Because
question.
ideally, our funding is tied to population.
Right.
And the next census is 2030. Our majority of our funding comes from sales tax revenue.
Yep.
And that calculation is based on population.
Yep. So that's kind of the idea behind it. Thanks for bringing that up. Some of the other stuff too, actually just popped into my, and Tim kind of meant, I'll touch on this, is we've got a lot of projects coming up with, the water system. The water system needs a lot of repairs and maintenance. What we were handed by Wardwell is it wasn't real well maintained, and it needs some TLC, and so we're going to be spending money on that. And then obviously our police department is going to be we want to get to the point where we're fully staffed on our police department. We're also, one of the other goals is getting a full-time fire department. That's we have different ideas of how to fund that and do nature, those sort of the nature of that. But those are basically the ideas of, and then how you carry them through. Those are going to be into the future, probably, I would say 2 to 3 years, maybe even further, 4 or 5 years out, because, you just don't make money. It doesn't just pop into existence. You've got to, build infrastructure, build homes, and collect that tax revenue, make sure that you have enough. And anyway, I don't want to bore you with all that, but the point is that we have to make sure we have enough money to support these things. That goes back to that one question we asked, how do you grow the town without bankrupting it, basically? So, yeah. Anyway, that's our future. It's fun,
Yep.
as long as Mike approves. That's all that matters, really. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, Garrett.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, Sue, I appreciate you coming, and you did good.
Much
You did
appreciated.
good.
Thank you all.
It's hard being in that hot seat. I've been.
We have bottles of water in the fridge.
Push myself.
I was gonna say it might be good for these guys to have one. Thank you.
PTSD, just remembering what it was like
Oh,
being
it's
there, like,
super-
not that long ago.
It's super nerve wracking, isn't it?
I
You
don't-
know, it was fortunate for me because I was not that far out of the Army when I did my interview. And I had gone through promotion boards. And if you want to feel a nerve wracking experience, and Mike knows what I'm talking about, you go through a promotion board. There is nothing like that. That is terrifying. You have senior NCOs. So NCOs are non-commissioned officers, and they're all like 15, 20 years in the Army, and they've got all these ribbons, and there's, rank everywhere, and there's unit badges, and they're all just sitting there like, and none of them smile, right? And you're supposed to walk in, you got to be dressed right, dress everything. Your uniform has to be absolutely immaculate. I mean, perfectly immaculate. You're supposed to walk in, boom, you're marching as you walk in, and you have to do your right face, and then you sit down, and you have to sit down like this, and you can't move the entire time. You have to just sit there, and it is literally like, and you're in your full dress uniform, and you're just literally like pouring sweat, but you have to look like a stone the whole. You remember, right? How do you sit? Well, okay. Here, fine. Okay, is that better? Thank you. Yeah, you basically sit like you have a rod shoved up here. You know what? So, is the next person here? Okay.
Is it?
You guys ready? Okay. That's what I needed. Yeah, let's call her in.
This is actually really good for me because I'm hiring at my job, so I need to practice interview skills, intimidate people. Just really cut out for it.
Need to be meaner.
I can't.
I know,
I've
so-
tried. My name is Joy.
Yeah, it's true.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, it
Hello.
is.
Doing well. Guess I sit here.
Thanks, you. I was gonna shake your hand. Yeah, it is. It's definitely the hot seat.
Next time, Kelly, we need a
Lukewarm.
spotlight.
How you doing?
Hi.
I'm Mayor Boyer. It's nice to meet you.
Okay.
Tim Ficken.
Hi,
Nice to
Tim.
meet you.
Joy.
Hi, Joy. Nice to meet
Nice to
you.
meet you. I guess I need to.
Well, welcome to the party.
Thank you.
Um, we are going to do a round robin, so I'll start and we'll go around each, well, not her, each council. And, not that we don't trust Callie, because we do trust Callie. So we'll go around, we'll just each ask you a question and you just answer honestly. And if you don't know the answer, that's fine. This is not, we're not here to grill you. We're all friends here, and people get super nervous during this, and that's okay. But just remember, we're just here to ask you questions and find, there's no perfect answer or anything. So you just answer to the best of your ability and we'll get through this. So, all right, well, we'll jump right in. What motivated you to apply for the vacant town council position?
I'm currently getting my master's of public administration from the University of Wyoming. And this fits so well into everything that I studied, so I thought it would be a good experience and a good way to learn to work with the community and how to enjoy Barna. I mean, I could do the 5-minute answer, but basically, I found it to be an interesting concept, and I thought that it would be a powerful thing to try and do.
Are you able to attend regular town council meetings, work sessions, and special meetings as needed? Do you anticipate any reoccurring scheduling conflicts?
The only scheduled conflict, not knowing what's going on, is near the end of September. We're leaving town.
Town council members are often expected to attend community events, Easter egg hunt, volunteer appreciation day, 4th of July events, and other things like that. If available, are you willing to participate in those events?
Yes.
Okay. As long as you get to let off the fireworks this year.
small.
Cool. Yeah. Be fun. But Dan.
Do you have any actual or potential conflicts of interest that could affect your service on the council?
No.
Perfect.
Oh,
Yes, I like those
Like it.
easy answers. Those are the fun ones. What do you see as the town of Bar None's greatest strengths and greatest challenges over the next 5 years?
I think the strength of the town is its I enjoy the small town aspect. I was raised in a big town in California and lived in big towns in California. And I can't stand to go back to California after living here. This is just, and I know the whole town is not peaceful, but my little section of it is. And I enjoy that immensely, to be able to go and walk anywhere and just know that there's nothing going to happen to me. I'm just very small town. Now, in reading some of the stuff I found online, that you think at the next census that we're going to have enough population to be a city.
Possibly.
And, right. And I always thought it was 5,000. Your paper said it was 4,000. So I figure maybe it depends upon the town. I don't know.
It's state statute, it's by state, but anyway, go
Okay.
ahead.
And so, and you want it to be a strong city or a high feeling, something about a positive city. And I think you've already laid the foundation for positive city. Do I think there's things to improve? Yes. I chose Bar None's budget to do an analysis for one of my classes. And you don't know how many streets, how many miles of streets you have, or how many acres of grass you have. You do not know your infrastructure. And I don't know how you could be a great city if you don't know what you're managing. And in calling to figure out, to do the analysis that I was doing on your budget, to figure out if you were paying people to pay the people or to do a job. And if they're doing the job, are they completing that? You don't find that anywhere in your verbiage that I find. In order to find how many miles do you maintain for XYZ trails, alleys, I'd had to pay somebody $40 an hour to find that out. I think that's the wrong way to go for it. I think the way you should be looking at it is we should know what we're managing. And if we're going to be a great city, we should know what it costs to maintain a mile of road. And are you doing 20% of your roads per year to have them all done in 5 years? Or are you doing a 10? I mean, do you know what your accomplishments are since you don't know what you may be managing? Not what you expected, huh?
Every answer is okay.
Interesting.
What current town project or initiative interests you the most and why?
Like to promote activities for young people. The water park, excellent idea. It gets a lot of use and it's very positive. And your Easter egg hunt and all the other, I think when you do your community events, you drive a portion of them towards the younger kids. And I think that's extremely positive. That may keep them in town longer than moving away because they have the positive memories about the place.
Thank you.
What would be your top priorities if appointed?
I would,
It's honest.
once I found because all it said is you have a vacancy. It didn't say you do X, Y, Z on the piece of paper, it just said a vacancy. So I read all your, as much as I could read on Facebook and in your website and stuff. And I would learn what this position is and then do the position and probably more.
Okay.
So I don't think you just sit here and listen every 2 weeks.
That'd be nice, but no.
No,
There's quite a bit that goes on.
there's a lot of prep and stuff that goes before this, I figure.
It's, most of it's, yeah. I think people see about 10% of what we have to actually do, so.
But that's, having worked for federal government for almost 30 years.
Long time.
I get that part.
Yeah. Thank you.
Describe any experience you have with budget, financial oversight, and making difficult financial decisions.
Besides the home budget, working
Those are
for the
difficult.
federal government for X number of years, my last 10, 12 years was in a higher management position of which I handled the budget for the forest recreation lands and wilderness staff and grants, which averaged $4 to $6 million per year. Grants requiring their own response and follow-up, documenting how you spent the money in with the terms of the grant. So I do have that experience. I did have a short experience in the regional office where I handled the 27 forest budgets for recreation and wilderness, and that I couldn't tell you how much that
Is that
was.
for Wyoming or for region?
This is California.
Oh, in California.
I worked on the forest in California.
Okay. That's similar to our budget, 4 to 6 million.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
the 4%,
Yeah.
which is positive because then you don't have an issue with the I was going to say games, but the rules regarding property tax and how it might reduce
Mhm.
as they continue to discuss that.
Yeah. Yep. What do you believe are the town's most important fiscal priorities? And how would you balance community needs with responsible spending? So let's just start with the first part. What do you believe are the town's most important fiscal priorities?
Maintenance of infrastructure. They're going to be in front of you if they can't drive the road or play on the grass in the park. I think those are the visible accomplishments. I would think always deciding whenever there's decisions to be made on the council, that they're made in favor of to get the best for the people for what's better bang for the buck. But infrastructure and people.
Fair. You kind of already answered it. And how would you balance community needs with responsible spending?
Knowing what you have to maintain, to know if you need to modify the budget to fund roads over grass or grass over roads or snow removal versus you have a lot of trade-offs in the budget. When I was with the Forest Service, we had the enacted, you have the mercy of government.
Mhm.
And they passed the government performance act, where we had to show, we had a database, that they enter once, used by many, which actually we entered 10 times, used from many. But in there was every building, every picnic table, every mile of trail, every mile of road, every piece that you would have to maintain. And then you had, they gave you goals. You will maintain X miles of trails. And then you put in there which trails you maintained and how they met standard. So that's where I'm coming from when it comes to budget, is are you getting the results that you are paying for? And I know I harped on that before, but it's, one, it was drummed into me and I did all the darn data. And the budget. So I knew the budget, when it went out to the different parts of the forest, it went with what you were expected to accomplish with it. Now, that wasn't the only thing all of us did, was go out and see if the picnic table got painted. But everyone knew what needed to be done, and then they had the other portions of their jobs they still had to go do. So there's still the result issue.
Thank you. Okay, this is 2 questions. How do you envision Barnum's future growth, and what role should the council play in planning for growth, economic development, and maintaining the town's character?
So you grew when you built when the subdivision was built out towards, I guess, north. And look, and driving around town, there looks like there could be room for more subdivisions. And I would assume there's standards that the developers have to meet prior to building. They have, so many parks for so many people, something that the developers would have to, that's what I see in accomplishment. If they do expand, there would be requirements for them to have some green space that they would develop, as well as walking paths or sidewalks or something to move people around, that if they want to get to the park, they can walk there from their house. That's what I see, because that's what I feel that we have now with there's the path that runs along Antelope, and you can get to the park going down that path, which I see a lot of bicycles doing, and they sure move faster than I do walking. But you have a lot out there. So if you develop further, I would do it in the same vein as there. That the infrastructure would be created by the developer to simulate what you already have.
So council members often hear differing opinions from different residents. How would you handle a situation where your personal opinion differs from those of your constituents?
Well, my opinion doesn't count. You're asking about it. But I'm involved in very contentious public meetings. And our number one response is, thank you for your comment. Well, you don't try to persuade them. If it's a complaining comment, I would probably ask them, how do you see to resolve that issue? But not impart what my opinion.
Okay.
Tell us about a time you had to make a difficult or unpopular decision. How did you approach it?
Documentation.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the only one that flashed in my mind was in the Sierras, high up in the mountains. There's an off-highway vehicle route that goes that's 33 miles long. And one section of it also has a horse trail that sits with it. So trying to be creative to do water bars because the vehicles damage it differently than the horses do.
I've installed those, I know what you're talking about.
So I used conveyor belt water bars. And when my boss went and saw him, he went ballistic, but I had the piece of paper where he approved for me to
Those actually work very well.
They did for a couple of years and then they went limp.
They did,
And I think that they weren't installed properly. Because I had wilderness people doing it as opposed to OHV people. That maybe they weren't buried enough. But the concept was good, but execution made it a problem. That was the
I need to go drive up there and see if mine are lasting. It's been a few years.
They should.
What do you believe is the proper role of a town council member in relation to the mayor, town staff, and the public?
I would think we have a strong mayor setup.
Mhm.
I assume that you work with the council and they work with you.
Yes,
Uh,
that's generally the idea, I think.
as opposed to in California, when in the town that I lived in, when you had a strong mayor, the mayor had more pull than the council members. And it caused consternation among many people. So I would think that we would all work together. The issue is to solve any problems that are coming up, try and not make any problems amongst ourselves. To listen to the public and actually hear them and have that cause conversations amongst the group to see if there's a way to either solve the issue or is there a different box to look at it, to get outside the box and see if there's a different way to resolve it than the way we would normally look at it. I see us as a reflection of the community and that we're here to serve and we're here to make things better.
I think the key is we have a cohesiveness here, even though we don't always agree with each other.
Uh-huh.
But our cohesiveness comes through our respect for each other. And so our disagreements, as far as they go, we just disagree once in a while, but we
And you
still,
also agree to disagree and move on.
that's the key, I think.
And, and speaking as to the strong mayor form of government, that's why elections are so important
Mhm.
and why you choose your mayor wisely, because he is the leader, but he wields a lot of power. And I don't think a lot of people realize how much power he does actually wield. And so you want to choose a person that's moral and principled and upstanding, that, like, there are things that I don't even have to tell council, but I bring it to them because I want them to be part of the process,
Mhm.
but I don't technically have to.
Right?
And so I do because that's how I am. And those are I mean, in my opinion, that's the kind of person that I am. And that's who I would want filling this seat, because they could just kind of run roughshod over the council.
Mhm.
I've experienced it before and it's not fun. So anyway, that's personal experience. Moving on.
How would you prepare for meetings and stay informed about issues before the council?
I would assume that there is massive reading of material before each meeting. I would assume that there are, I don't know if you have pre-meetings to discuss what paperwork considers. I would assume that would help be more on top of things and how everybody feels about topic A versus topic B. I don't know all your inner workings.
You have, well, so just to answer that real quick, you have to be careful with it because whenever, so like if you send out an email, right, and you send it out to all accounts, so you have to blind carbon copy at least 3 of the members because otherwise you create a quorum.
Mhm.
And then you can't discuss town topics outside of an open
Oh,
meeting.
yes,
So you have to be really careful
Yes.
with
the
that.
sunshine laws and stuff.
Yep. And so me as the mayor, I do a lot of phone calling to these 3 where I'm like, hey, what's your opinion on this? And then, that way I'm not creating a quorum and
Right,
I'm not discussing town council or town business outside of a council meeting because I can get myself in trouble.
correct.
And so that's the purpose of the emails. We do have work sessions, other things like that. But anyway, that's the purpose of the emails is that gets us the majority of our information out there so that we can know what's going on.
And Callie does put together a concise packet,
Yep.
usually 2-3 days prior to the meeting that we can devour before we get to the
Is
meeting.
that through email also?
Good.
So
All right. Have you previously served on board, commission, nonprofit, or governing body?
On the board, no. I've worked very closely with different nonprofit boards.
Okay. What have you learned from that experience?
Well, good leaders have good boards, or good boards have good leaders. And some leaders are so involved in the projects they can't see what the board is doing. It's personalities, it's how the personalities work, and whether they're focused in the direction that they should be. My former supervisor is now on a board with the one that I worked really closely for when I was working. And there's websites about how to manage a good board. And I was sending her all this information to help her make sure the board worked cohesively.
As a council member, there may be times when confidential information is discussed in executive session. How would you handle confidential information? It's kind of
It doesn't get
Brainer
discussed with
question.
anybody I know, but yeah.
all right. When you take the oath of office, you will swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of Wyoming, and faithfully perform the duties of your office. What does that commitment mean to you?
Well, I've already done an oath for the United States. And my thought is your oaths don't go away once you make them. I haven't had a reason for the oath for Wyoming or bar none. My thought is you follow the tenets. You do what you're supposed to do, and you don't share information that shouldn't be shared, and you don't make things more difficult than they need to be.
Thank you. What qualities or experiences make you a strong candidate for this appointment?
But
I already wrote it down.
okay,
You earned a point there.
but could you repeat your question so I don't form just the thing?
Yes. What qualities or experiences make you a strong candidate for this appointment?
I have extensive experience in budgets and executing them. I like numbers. I would continue to do percentages and whatever to see how much salary versus other things that you have going on, because mostly it's salary. Numbers and pain in the butt. I don't know how else to answer that.
Thank you.
You should be an accountant.
I was
For both of those.
I worked for an accountant for a while, and I figured when you work for the Forest Service, when you get tired of the numbers, you can go out in the woods and review
I
something.
was gonna say, yeah. Okay, I get the most difficult question to ask you. It's the last one.
All right.
What questions do you have for us?
Oh, good one. What do you think about changing your budget to a budget that's results oriented versus funding people?
What do you mean? Like, I'm trying to grasp what you're saying here.
Okay. Your person hired to mow lawns. How many acres of lawns does he mow it?
Right.
So, and I assume he's scheduled to mow this many acres on Monday, this Tuesday. I mean, he's working probably 5 days a week.
Right.
Is that enough time if you expand and you have more parks?
Can they absorb that workload?
Can they absorb it? And without doing the math and knowing what he's doing now, if you added 5 more acres, would it change drastically, or would you need to hire a new person for
Right.
the additional mowing? So,
So it's almost like having employees that you do performance-based evaluation
Right.
rather than just a cost of living increase standard
well,
in principle.
in principle, but I think you're going to be bound by the cost of living increase,
Right,
but knowing what they're accomplishing
Mhm.
in their monthly work. So I mowed Antelope Park 4 times this month. Versus your other parks, they all could probably be done in less time than it takes to do Antelope, right? So,
Do you mind if I answer this one, Pete?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
So when I think about something like that, I try to, and I'll try to be quick. And I may give you an answer you don't like or do like, I don't know. But just my initial thought, because this is an interesting concept that you're talking about, is I see a lot of micromanaging having to happen if you do it based off of the way you're discussing, because you have to trust, like Peter has to trust his maintenance superintendent that he is hiring the right people to maintain the parks and the recs and their mowing and everything, and that they're not wasting time and that they are being efficient with what they're doing and they're not milking the clock. So to your point, if we added 5 acres of lawn and the same person is miraculously able to mow that, what were they doing before that? To your point, right?
right.
So it's, you kind of have to work a little bit off of like, and this could be a bad thing to do, but off of trust, where you trust the people working for you that they're maintaining their staff appropriately. If they keep coming to you and say, we need to hire more people and more people and more people, you're like, we haven't built any new parks. We haven't done any new things. Why would we need more people to do the same job? Well, we lost someone that was a very high performer. Okay, well then we need to find the right people, not just more people. So that's kind of how
Combination of it.
it is. So
And I assume that the lawnmowers have to be maintained on certain days.
yeah, and they need to be adults and work that into their schedule and figure out how to do that. So I personally would say if you start noticing things aren't getting mowed, things aren't being maintained, things aren't being done, and you have the same amount of staff, but the work volume has not gone up or down, then that's when you need to have a conversation with the head of that department and say, what's going on with your staff? Are you managing them appropriately? Otherwise, you're going to drive yourself insane managing everybody and not allowing them to manage their own people.
And I understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
I'm looking at slightly different that. And let's honestly state. John Doe, who lives next door, would not know that the property is moved. That's not his thing. He has no children.
Okay.
Would he know if the street was not snow removed when there's 3
Yes.
days? So he will notice that.
Okay.
So it varies. It's what the public would do. And so would you be able to stay when they sit here and talk to you? And are all these people here when they're, okay. When they talk to you and the complaint is, my street's not being maintained.
Oh, they hear that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say it's on the schedule for X year.
Yep.
And they
Yep.
look at.
Yep.
And they'll come back next year and say it didn't
Yep.
happen.
So that gentleman there, that Ray Catalier, the engineer,
Uh-huh.
he knows how many inches of road we have in the community.
Oh, he does.
Oh, yes. And between him and Dustin, the mayor and everybody, they do have this mapped out.
Just a
Yeah.
quick stab at it, because I always find it fascinating too, as a business owner. And I do development. Because you're right. It's difficult to parallel a community. There are some parallels. But I know what 2 or 3 men, how many feet of pipe they put ground in.
Yep.
I don't know that. I don't know what I'm making for a profit.
You can't estimate.
But I think Tim's right. We don't want to get into a micromanagement situation. I think what a municipality does, especially with their heads of department, engineers, and attorneys, the communication keeps us in the loop of what's going on out there. But as we grow, I also think the historical quantities of our assets let us know what we need for manpower too. Dustin, and I think any supervisor would let us know, we did 3x3 parks, same manpower, we're stretching, and then we adjust. Kind of moving into this with the water meter issue that we've had.
Yes.
We've taken inventory, a lot of it because we brought on the water well system. But we also realized we should upgrade ours. So we're taking inventory, coming up with a plan, how many to change every year, get caught up, stay on that program of a 20-year replacement, that. And so I think that lends to
Yes,
what you're talking about,
yes,
without getting too micromanaging,
right.
but it is,
But
you gotta keep track of
there's
your
a plan.
assets.
Yeah.
So I saw the guy with the wheel between manhole covers. He's in that length of sewer lines and stuff.
There is a method to our madness. It may not be as super visible, but
Yep.
yeah.
Okay,
Does that cover you?
I'm covered.
Cool.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you for coming in and interviewing.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Oh, and we appreciate you being brave enough to come in here and interview and do everything.
Oh, you brought up some great points.
Yep.
My pleasure.
They had P and Z in here, didn't they, Callie? Did they have P and Z in here? They had P and Z. P and Z. Oh, you're fine.
Girl?
Do what?
I don't know.
Did you wave at me?
I don't know. She was staring at me like, I don't care.
You look, her mother looked familiar, but I don't know. Oh, yeah, that's, my vision's not as good as it used to be apparently.
Did Mike forget his P and Z notes up here?
Are they sitting in our?
There's like dirty fingerprints and coffee stains all over this. And flaky stuff on my seat.
They were sitting in our chairs.
They were sitting in our chair.
They were sitting in our chairs.
Uh-huh.
Unacceptable.
I know.
On that end.
Was that why there's gum and stuff under here?
P and Z riffraff.
Right?
Welcome.
How are you doing, sir?
Good.
Next contestant.
Yeah.
Price is
Come
right.
on, stay out.
I'm sorry. No.
Bob.
Welcome to the party. Mayor Boyer.
Disappointed in that.
Mr. Housden?
Yes, sir.
All right, make sure I got the right person. We do this in a round table style, so I go Joy, Tam, and then Dan. And we'll each ask you a question and just, answer to the best of your ability. There's no perfect answer or no exactly right answer. There's no reason to be nervous about it or anything. Just do the best you can. And if you don't know, that's fine. We don't expect people to know everything that's going on in town. That's kind of our job. And, just we're all friends here. So if you don't have any questions, we'll jump right into it.
Oh, I'm
Okay,
ready. I'm ready as you can be for it.
I'll let her rip.
perfect. Well, we'll just start right off then. What motivated you to apply for the vacant town council position?
Looking around my community and I'm seeing areas that aren't being addressed, things that are not being even-handed, so to speak. It's just like, across the street on one of my neighbors, he got a building permit and he built his fence all the way to the edge of the street. Yet the town's, the setback required under the plat is 25 feet back from the road. The neighbor right next door to him was stopped from building a fence, and he was allowed to build the fence, and he's even told me that he was allowed to get a permit to build the fence. So there's it's not being,
Inconsistent.
it's very inconsistent is one of the issues. One of the issues was with the recent corruption with our fire department. I'm a retired law enforcement officer, retired from Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office as a sergeant. So I have a lot of inside ability to understand a lot of the legal ramifications of everything. I was also a paramedic, worked for my local ambulance service where I lived in Tooele County in Utah for 19 years. It was a volunteer organization. So I'm very well versed in how hard it is to staff a volunteer organization, positives and negatives of it. Working with those types of people, dealing with the county, dealing with the city, all the interactions that have to come together to make something work and to work effectively. I mean, the recent fire department issue, and I don't blame the chief for this. I blame this as an issue of being a volunteer department, is he didn't have the staffing to respond to a house fire. In my book, that's a failure. From a citizen standpoint, that's a failure. So how do we correct the failure? And that's some of the things I looked at, and I'm going, how can I best serve my community? I have cancer. I have multiple myeloma cancer. I've been disabled for about 4 years now. I am just now getting back to my health standpoint where I can look and do things and use some of my schooling and resources that I got over the years to help a community. And this is my own community. I've been here for 20 years. How can I better help focus what our community needs from the city itself? How could we better service those people? So in a nutshell, it comes down to, I see our city is having an issue with, we're floundering, and how can I help my city be prosperous? How can I better enable the city to do what needs to be done to protect not only the citizens, but the citizens' rights versus what the city needs and the rights of the city? How do we, I look at our new police department, it's a fledgling department. Okay, there's a lot of challenges, I'm sure you're aware of. Tooele City, back when I was working with the Tooele City Police Department, they were a fledgling city too, about 30,000. So I have kind of a lived experience in some of the growing pains that go with this. Yeah, I have to reflect sometimes to remember some of it. But I feel that now that I'm able, I'm more, my health is better now. I'm as near remission as I can be. So with multiple myeloma, it's a non-curable cancer. So at some point in my life, in the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to come back. And if the medications will no longer work, then it will be a very short lifespan for me. But in the time I have left, how can I best serve the community I'm in with my time? And I have a lot of time right now. I can do research. I currently manage a website for, it's a conservative website that allows you to discuss things, discussion forums. Myself and another person in Oregon, Washington area co-own the site. I do all of the back end work on the servers and things of that nature. That's all things that I've learned over the years. But I have so many broad areas of expertise. I'm thinking that I can use them in what time I have left on this, or to maybe enhance the community, share some of that knowledge. You know, and it's 60, I'll be 63 this in about a month. So I've got quite a bit of years behind me.
Are you able to attend regular town council meetings, work sessions, and special meetings as needed? Do you anticipate any recurring scheduling conflicts?
I don't foresee an issue at this point with me attending whatever town and meetings. I cannot be employed per se full-time because of the type of cancer I have. But I have all the time in the world during the day, afternoons. So I do not see that as being a conflict.
This next one with your health concerns, maybe, you won't be able to do all these, but there's community events that we have in town, such as Volunteer Appreciation Day, Easter egg hunt, 4th of July events, and other town functions. If you're willing and able, are you willing and able to participate?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I just have to be careful with the sun, and I know how to do that.
Okay.
Do you have any actual or potential conflicts of interest that could affect your service on the council?
Not that I am aware of.
What do you see as the town of Bar Nuns' greatest strengths and the greatest challenges over the next 5 years?
You answered a lot of these already as we're going in your first part.
Well, the town's strength is it's growing. And there's a lot of challenge in that. That's going to be, it's also, it's not only a strength, but a weakness, I guess. If you want, it can be both. If I look at it as a strength, I try to look positively at it. There's how can we best focus that energy making the town better? That's identifying those areas is pretty much the town council's job, and focusing that, trying to get the public behind us.
What current town project or initiative interests you the most and why?
Town projects and initiatives. The building of both the police department and fire department interests me because it's areas that I've worked in. They're crucial to the functions of the town, the safety of the town, the ability to lead peaceful lives, and have the assurance from your community that you have a safe place to be, a safe place to go. That's, if you don't have a safe place to live and you're always looking over your shoulder, it's not a very pleasant place to live. And that's why when I worked with the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office, I worked in the Salt Lake Valley and I lived in the Tooele Valley. Because in the Salt Lake Valley, I had a bullseye on my back all the time. Because when you put people in prison and you take away their liberties, you become a target. that's a rough life to lead of a law enforcement officer. And especially in that big city, because you had gangs. You don't have a lot of that here. Casper's got a few gangs, but nothing like SAC, SAW, and a few of the other very well organized.
I mean, have you met the teenagers around here?
Yes.
Yeah,
I have some of the teenagers scare me because they've never been given limits
there's enough fear.
to their, they just don't have limits to what they can do and can't do. Parents, I would, seem to have given up their right as a parent to actually deal with their children. And I don't know if that's because we have lost our moral center that we, through religion and things of that nature, if we've lost that moral center there, or if it's that we have people who want to take away your parental rights and the schools are telling them they can do this and that, even though the parent doesn't. And so we have a conflict of interest over parental rights, which happens to be a very big issue in our day and age.
Thank you.
Keep us, if appointed, what would your top priorities be?
My top priority right now would be the even-handedness of how we give out building permits, how we do day-to-day operations, that we're being consistent. That's going to be my top priority if I get appointed.
Okay.
Because I want consistency. I don't want to be the person that gets noted as, well, he's your friend, and because he's your friend, he's letting you do this and that and that, and I don't like that look of, what's going to be the best term to use with that?
Favoritism?
Yeah. I don't like the look of impropriety that somebody's in my back pocket or my front pocket or whatever pocket they think or I have it out for this person or that person and it's that look. And I think that comes from my law enforcement background is we were always trained that everything you do and say in public could end up on the 5 o'clock news.
Mhm.
Today, even worse, because now we have everybody with a knife. So if you're not thinking about how the public's going to perceive what you're saying and what you're doing, and you think it may be a little off kilter, it's best to keep your mouth shut. So, but the impropriety, the look of impropriety, it drives me nuts.
Okay.
Describe any experience you have with budgets, financial oversight, or making difficult financial decisions.
Well, as someone who's just had major cancer issues and into the millions of dollars of what that's cost me, thank goodness for my health insurance plans, and then figuring out who gets paid first, who gets paid second, teaching budgeting for a while, how your house getting paid first, your lights, gas, water, those come second. Third is your food and necessities to live. You got to have that house to live. You got to have that. It's prioritization, and I think that comes down to a lot of the planning. When I look at, I was part of the group that did all of the policies and procedures for the adult detention complex at the New Salt Lake County Jail back in the 2000s when we were building that jail. And we had to manage those funds that were given to us. If we would go out and we would seek information from medical field people, equipment manufacturers and things like that. Those were all things that we dealt with for, I'm going to say, more fringe than actually into it, but we got to see what those things were about and how they managed the budget of the jail or the building of that facility. I'm not totally ignorant of those things. I've never had a really hands-on approach to that.
Oh, that's me. Sorry. Describe any experience you have with budgets, financial oversight, or
We just did
make,
that one.
I'm sorry.
We're on now.
I even have my name written on there. That's the fun part. What do you believe are the town's most important fiscal priorities? And how would you balance community needs with responsible spending?
I started Facebook posting this. Anyway, I guess the first thing is you need to facilitate a reasonable discussion. You set your priorities, like I just said with in balance, in setting up your household, you need to set up the same priorities for a city. You have to say, okay, this is priority 1, this is priority 2, this is priority 3, priority 4. And this is how much we can spend on each of these priorities. Now we have X number of dollars left over. How do we spend that wisely? Do we put it in a savings account? Do we put it rainy day fund? I guess that's a topic where you really have to discuss it amongst the group, because we all have different priorities. We all have different things that we think are important. So there's always going to be a little bit of conflict when you talk with others about, way I see things or way someone else sees things. But in the end, we all have to realize that we're here as a group, and it's our decisions that make or break the town. So do we be fiscally smart? Do we take the time to explore all the avenues? Is something the town doing at X number of dollars? Could we save X number of dollars by going and hiring a contractor to do the same service? What kind of, it's exploring the avenues to me. It's actually going in and looking at different things and not being closed-minded about it, I guess. Trying to, for me, it'd be like listening to Mr. Boyer over the stuff on the website the other day. I mean, it baffled me. I couldn't see the things, but I understood your position because I have experiences that are different. And I don't know if it was just a website messing up, or if it was my browser, or all the different things that can go wrong with that communications process. But I understand that, and I accept what was said. So I guess it's being open and accepting of everybody's points of views, and then coming to a consensus about what we want to do. And I understand enough about dollars and cents and monies and budgets to figure that one out very quickly.
How do you envision Barnum's future growth, and what role should the council play in planning for the growth, economic development, and maintaining the town's character?
Okay, that's a pretty broad, but the town's growth is going to be driven by the jobs in the area. The amount of opportunity that we see around us. So not only do we have to grow in a housing end, I don't think Barn End wants to remain a bedroom community. We also have to have an area for industrial development, because that also brings us revenue. And with the current 25% reduction in what the town's going to receive, and the lack of funding that's going to hit with the recent things that happened in Cheyenne, we have to expand our industrial base around us, or everybody in the community is going to take a hit. And I'm one of those people who believes that once you purchase your property and you pay the taxes on that property, you shouldn't have to pay a property tax. Well, with that belief comes, okay, so how do we fund the city? How do we fund the things we need to do as a community? I like to see things up front in my face. I want to see the bill, if police is going to cost me this, and if fire is going to cost me this, and ambulance service is going to cost me this. And you lay those things out on your budgetary things where you can all see it. Well, then the town knows what that money's going for. The people around you know what the money's going for. And I guess that's one of my pet peeves is towns have hidden that information away from the general public because it's all been collected from those who own property. So everybody doesn't know what the cost is to operate the town. And if the legislature is going to take that budgetary item away from, that money supply away from us, then we need to educate the people around us as to, okay, this is what things cost. This is what we're getting from the state to cover those things. This is what we have to make up. And then let's have a discussion open. How are we going to make that up? If you don't increase your industrial base, you've got to raise taxes on your people, on your homes, your fire, your water, sewer, any of those bills that we control. All of a sudden now we got to dump $20, $40, $50 a month on these bills to make up the money to fund the city. So if we don't have a balanced approach as to how we're going to build this city, it's just a matter of time before it crashes. So, we've got to really sit down and think hard, where do we want our industrial people that fund, that actually feed the tax money into the town? How do we balance that as a town? Without those two crucial things working together, you're a bedroom community, and now you're at the mercy of other agencies like the state telling you how much money you can have.
I'll be the bad guy. We got a lot of questions to go through. I like your answers, but we got a lot to get through still. So no, your answers are great. It's just cueing you a little. How would you handle a situation where your personal opinion differs from the majority of your constituents?
As a police officer, I had to deal with it every day. Okay, I even had disagreements with my correctional staff, when I was a sergeant. I am a professional. I can work with anyone. As long as they are communicating with me and I can communicate back what that is. And then if we come to an agreement that this is how we're going to do it, then let's stick to the agreement to know how we're going to do it. I may not fully agree with the agreement, but
You can expect it.
you've got to be cohesive and you have to show one united front when it comes to a body like this. Because if there's any dissension, it's going to rip you apart.
You want me to ask it?
Kid saying she's got an issue. All right. Tell us about a time you had to make a difficult or unpopular decision. How did you approach it?
From a sergeant standpoint, that was easy. It was just, that's the way it's going to be. And I'm sorry if you don't understand that at this moment. We can talk about it later. Type thing. Sometimes you have to make the decision. You have to make the hard call. I had a paramedic I was training in the back of an ambulance who did not follow the code protocol. And I told him to step back, to step down. He needed to step back because what he was about to do was going to kill the patient. It caused a major rift with that individual, with me, because I basically took his patient control away from him. It took probably 3 months for him to even talk to me. But after we talked it through and we went through the step by step and where he messed up, he realized that injecting the particular medication he was about to inject would have killed the patient. So there's times where if you don't act, I know this in town council, it's not that deliberate here, but when you're in the back of an ambulance at 90 miles an hour and you're doing CPR and stuff, somebody's gonna shoot the wrong drug into the patient that's ultimately gonna end their life. There's no time for questions. This is the way it is, step back. And I don't have a problem doing that. I did that as a sergeant for the sheriff's office. I did that as a paramedic. I do that with my kids from time to time. And some of them get pretty mad.
What do you believe is the proper role of a town council member in relation to the mayor, town staff, and the public?
As I understand the town council, it is a deliberative body. The ultimate power rests with the mayor. As the way the structure goes. As a town council, we can ratify laws and things like that, but the person's signature that ultimately matters is the mayor's. Because he's the one that holds he's the elected representative of the town and has the power that the people gave to him. So to be supportive as a council member, to be supportive, give good counsel, discuss with my peers what their thoughts are, where their legal bounds go back and forth, what they're thinking about those issues, what information they have gleaned from other sources, attorneys, and on and on and on. But the ultimate power rests with the mayor. So my job as a council member would be to be part of the deliberative body, to facilitate communication with the town itself. Ask questions. Like I did with the fire department issue, when I put that particular issue on the Facebook page. I'm sure most of you have read it. I didn't make a comment until I had information from a reliable source about what were the times, how long did it take notice to respond? And one of the individuals was I understand she was protecting her husband. And I understand that comes from a very emotional point of view. Once I had the information, it all fit within the right timeframes, parameters, everything. So, and then I could tell her by point, this is what happened. It wasn't, yes, our agreements with other agencies worked because we didn't have the manpower to respond. Unfortunate, yes. That's sometimes, but that's how life throws you things. But it was a good response. Our interagency agreements worked. They did what they were supposed to do. And sometimes that's a hard one to try and express to people, that yes, it was a failure, but no, the things we did to protect the community in case of that unfortunate event worked as they were supposed to happen. So, and sometimes that's a hard one to try to communicate to the community.
How would you prepare for meetings and stay informed about issues before council?
I couldn't hear what's hard that.
How would you prepare for meetings and stay informed about issues before the council?
I'm not sure if you guys have a communications network between you all. I don't know how you
Usually
communicate
communicate through
day-to-day.
email. So we
Email.
communicate through
Okay,
email.
so, but, and
We have
communication.
to be careful about that because you can't have a quorum. So any three members of the board together communicating about, we can talk about football if we want to, but we can't talk about town business because that's considered a quorum outside of a public meeting, which is against the law.
Right, the
So,
Open Meetings Act.
What we do usually is we have emails and things that are sent out by Callie that inform us of what the meetings are going to be about, important stuff that the council needs to be a part of, that's non-administrative. So like, doesn't involve Callie or Ray or, it's or not Ray, I mean Dustin.
Okay, so the
So-
important part is not
The
having.
important part, we do what we call a blind carbon copy, and so that I'll be on the email, a council member will be on the email, and then there will be two or three blind carbon copied so that we're not creating a quorum, but they're informed of the information that's going on, or the issue that's going on.
Okay, I see what I see. I get it.
Otherwise, I'm calling people a lot. That's what the other thing
Well,
is.
see, and that would be that's the biggest thing, communicating with your fellow members.
We don't always answer, but he does try to call.
He doesn't.
I do try.
I've heard that.
I do try.
And I try to call you back. Okay.
Yeah,
Have you-
I have an open phone, so it's,
Yeah.
Have you previously served on a board, commission, nonprofit, or governing body?
no.
Okay.
The only board that I served on was the policy-making board for the Adult Detention Center in Salt Lake County. That was part of my official duties as a peace officer. And my specific area was electronic communications, the FBI, and digital biometrics,
Okay.
along with medical.
As a council member, there may be times when confidential information is discussed in executive session. How would you handle confidential information?
Like I did as a sergeant. There are things that you say in public and there are things that you keep under your hat. I've done a couple, officer shooting investigations, and some of that stuff I still don't talk about. Because some of it is still considered, need to know only.
When you take the oath of office, you will swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of Wyoming, and faithfully perform the duties of your office. What does this commitment mean to you?
The commitment, I took that oath when I went into the United States military, the U.S. Army. That oath is very sacred to me, having served for this country. The Constitution is always it's the biggest governor, the primary governing body. The state constitution is the addendum to that. I have a hard time with people who think that everything's a living document and it changes because somebody's changed the meaning of a word and not going back to what its original meaning was at the time it was written. Because that can make a huge difference in how anything is interpreted. So just knowing that that's one oath that I take very seriously.
What qualities or experiences make you a strong candidate for this appointment?
I have been serving the communities at large for the better part of, 26 years, 9 months through law enforcement. 19 of those years as a paramedic. I've served as a rural paramedic. I think that I've had a lot of experience in many of those regions. My experiences in law enforcement really drive home a lot of things to me. I've seen both the good and the bad sides of what city ordinances and things can do, how they can conflict with different city ordinance can conflict with state ordinance or state laws. State laws conflict with federal laws, and understanding that the supremacy clause of the United States Constitution says that the United States Constitution takes precedent over any law, and I can, through my own design, tell them I will not enforce the ordinance or the state law because this is what the federal government says, and I will be protected under federal statute because of the federal supremacy clause.
Last question. Do you have any questions for us?
what do you expect from me? I mean, if I'm put in that empty chair, what would you, I mean, what do you expect from someone like me to be part of the team working to bring our community forward? As a team member, what do
I
you
think-
guys expect?
I mean, I don't want to speak for all of council, but I think when people get on these councils, they, I wouldn't say it's a shock, but I would say that it is an eye-opening experience. And I would expect that, first of all, you would go to the other council members and myself to ask questions, to get up to speed on things that are going on in the town. The second part would be is that you would work with us as a team. You know, we're all on the same page of making the town a better place. That's all our top priority at being in a governing body. And so we would want to work together as a team. So that means there's no bad ideas. But it also means that, you know, being respectful of the point that, you know, there's a lot of experience sitting on this side of the table. So we all need to work together. You know, each perspective is important, and respecting those different perspectives, and, you know, being willing to point out, you know, things that we could do better or whatever, you know, in each of us, and being willing to take criticism yourself. I think those are some big ones. Having, you know, any ideas about how you to move the town forward are good ones. I don't know. Is there any?
I think it's a good question for Joy, because she being on here more recently, from being in that seat not long ago to now being up here, it was probably very different than what you expected, I would assume.
I mean, yes and no. Like I wasn't too sure what to expect, honestly, sitting over there. There's a lot of, I don't know, like administrative things that I wasn't expecting. And so I had to ask questions, and Tim was actually really great. And he's like, no, you need to sign here, or don't sign on Peter's line. I learned that one.
Blue ink.
Yeah, and in blue ink, you know, don't sign blue ink. I just had to ask a lot of questions. Callie is great too, with like expectations on you need to do this, this, and this. So she keeps us in line, I think. I don't know.
I think people having humility to know that there's a lot of, it's real easy to think that there's a lot of things not being done right until you're there and you see what has been done and how hard we've worked to do the right way with the same information that everyone would have. So yeah, that little bit of humility would be awesome.
I also, sorry, Dan, I also think one of the biggest things that I've learned sitting on council is we have to make hard decisions based on what previous administration has done. And I don't think the town realizes that. Yeah, so having to, I don't know, defend our actions sounds kind of strong, but
But no, it
to, if the precedent was wrong, the council, would you be willing to upset that apple cart and change that if the precedent was wrong?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We've done quite a few of those, actually.
yeah.
People are going to be upset at you for something
Oh, I know.
anyway. So you better do the right thing, because everyone will eventually know everything that you do. So
And you can't make everyone happy.
That
I've
I-
learned that.
That's been a life experience for me.
In fact, it's pertinent to previous interview. Makes this council even disagree. Respect. Something else that the town doesn't know about, through that respect and our humility with each other, we criticize each other. Last year was a brutal experience for this town and this council. And we would look at each other and go, was that handled correctly? What could you have done better? We search those things with ourselves and with each other without getting upset with each other. And you got to be able to do that too as a team to run a community. Otherwise, if you come on here with inflated egos and then you get a criticism and you're like, that's it. Now all of a sudden you got a wall between you and the team.
The community.
The town suffers.
Yep.
you know, and so that humility is so important.
Yep. Well, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks.
We're behind schedule, so we
Oh, I'm
gotta,
sorry.
You're up.
we gotta get the next person in here. But we do appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Ronnie.
you.
Thank you.
That is gonna be a rerun.
Did he type up his intent letter last time or did you write it out?
I don't remember.
Thank you, Rhonda.
It makes me fast. I don't know why.
Yeah. I really.
Ready? Here. Let's do this thing. Well, we're gonna jump right in, man. It's kind of good that you've been through this experience before. So,
Yes.
we can just jump right in and get going because, we're actually behind schedule. Sorry about having to make you wait.
Oh, no worries.
So you know me. Well, all our names are here. This is Joy, this is Tim, this is Dan. We're gonna do round table. You know, there's no wrong answer. Just do your best. And, we're all in the same boat here. And three of us have been in that seat before. So it's nothing, it's nothing to be worried about. So anyway, so I'll just jump right in unless you got any questions.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. What motivated you to apply for the vacant town council position?
Partly I felt like maybe it was kind of my duty to get involved. You know, I just turned 50 and I've been living here basically my entire life. And I felt like it's a way to serve and to get involved with just taking care of this beautiful town that I love.
Perfect.
Hold on, I'm taking notes, sorry. Are you able to attend regular town council meetings, work sessions, and special meetings as needed? Do you anticipate any reoccurring scheduling conflicts?
I shouldn't because I work early mornings and it's all mostly in the evening here, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, there shouldn't be any conflict.
Great.
I'll be all fine.
Thank you.
Town council members are often expected, if able, to attend community events such as Volunteer Appreciation Day, Easter egg hunt, 4th of July events, and other town functions. Are you willing and reasonably available to participate if you can?
For most of that, my church is an outfitter church, and so.
You have to be there anyway.
Yeah, so I could pull double duty on those.
You get a two-sided shirt.
Yeah,
One side will be council member, the other side will be outfitter, right?
right, or just wear half the time.
Do you have any actual or potential conflicts of interest that could affect your service on the council?
No.
Okay, what do you see as the town of Bar Nuns' greatest strengths and greatest challenges over the next 5 years?
The greatest strength in my mind is the small town aspect of it. Neighbors know each other, the kids know each other. It's one of my favorite things about it. Some of the challenges, I guess, would be figuring out how we're going to grow because it's growing like crazy, and to try to maintain some of that same culture while dealing with the growing population.
What current town project or initiative interests you the most and why?
One thing I've been thinking about, and I just talked to the chief out there, is the new station and crew. That's something that's been really interesting me. And my wife caught the chief doing community service with some of the kids the other day, and we both agreed that that's a really awesome way to police juvenile crime. So that's warmed my heart a little bit and taken some doubt out of how they're going to run that.
Steve has won over quite a few people. He's a good dude.
Mhm.
Yeah, the more I talked to him last time I was here, and yeah, I'm always I'm a big time anti-authoritarian kind of guy, so that sort of thing always
Damn.
just scares me a bit, but
I'm your match, right?
yeah, I don't like to be told what to do, but I think it seems like he's trying to do a good thing. So.
I
Go
agree.
away. Go away, Steve. We're saying nice things about you.
You guys know?
Yeah, go away.
I have a philosophy of bleach on the
Actually
surface
goes
of
away.
Exactly. And there's a big difference. I've dealt with both.
If appointed, what would be your top priorities?
Top priority would be to, since I have literally zero experience in this sort of thing, I would be there learning, trying to listen, bounce ideas off of you guys, trying to learn from what you do for this short amount of time that I'd be in the interim position. So that would be that.
Describe any experience you have with budgets, financial oversight, or making difficult financial decisions.
My only real experience with that is just being a homeowner, just real life, making purchases, making a budget, that sort of thing. But I don't have any official capacity, any job I've had. I've never had any experience with any of that. But I'm definitely able to learn pretty well.
What do you believe are the town's most important fiscal priorities, and how would you balance community? Well, this is a two-part question. How would you balance community needs with responsible spending? So let's just take the first part and then we'll answer the second part. So what do you believe are the town's most important fiscal priorities?
Well, I like a lot of what you guys have done in the recent past with the splash pad, and that park gets used like crazy. It's awesome to see that get used so much. This community center with the gym, that's a nice gym. I think that's a really good way to do it. And that's one of the things I like about Bar None is these little projects that do things for the kids. So I'd say that's important to me as well as a fiscal responsibility.
And then how would you balance community needs with responsible spending?
I guess you would have to figure out, like, for example, fire, like having an actual fire station rather than a volunteer would probably be something you'd have to consider versus doing the fun stuff and making a really nice gym. Yeah, those are probably tough decisions to make, I reckon.
Okay, another two-part question. How do you envision Bar None's future growth?
It seems like this is a really nice, it's becoming a really nice big tree, big yard area, and I think it's going to continue to grow for quite a while. There's still a lot of room for developers to build. So, if the money's there to be made, they're going to do it. So I feel like Bar None's going to continue to grow at a pretty good clip. Wyoming's just really desirable.
What role should the council play in planning for growth, economic development, and maintaining the town's character?
The school is a big one. I know that they're planning on shuttering it, but I hope that can be visited in the future, especially if Bar None does continue to grow. That'd be an important.
Council members often hear differing opinions from residents. How would you handle a situation where your personal opinion may differ from that of your people that voted you in?
Well, I'm pretty good at listening. I would try to keep an open ear, hear their perspective. I know that I bet that you guys get a lot of flack for no matter what decision you make, whether it's good or not, because you're never going to satisfy everybody. But that'd be the main thing, is just keeping an open ear. I'm good at listening.
Tell us about a time you had to make a difficult or unpopular decision. How did you approach it?
Well, that's a tough. I had to make a whole lot of unpopular decisions just in my family in general. Maybe, having to override something that we were gonna do, maybe on a vacation or something, that my wife and son maybe disagreed with me on. And I usually just try to approach it in a way that I'm explaining the logic behind that decision and the fact that I'm making that decision out of care.
I've waited for someone to have a personal answer to that question, because the first thing I always think of is, oh man, I make my wife and kid mad all the time. It's funny.
What do you believe is the proper role of a town council member in relation to the mayor, town staff, and the public?
Kind of as a middleman, I think, talking to people, listening to people when they want to voice their opinions, and then passing that on to you and the other council members. Really just communication.
How would you prepare for meetings and stay informed about issues before the council?
I would try to read up anything I could, probably online. Again, I'd be networking with you guys, just kind of see what's on the agenda. And so I have a little bit of an idea of what we're going to be going over.
Have you previously served on any boards, commissions, nonprofits, or governing bodies?
Not once.
Okay.
As a council member, there may be times when confidential information is discussed in executive session. How would you handle confidential information?
I wouldn't share it with anyone, including my wife, just because it's just, if you say it, even if she doesn't mean to share it. So I would treat it as stick my lip.
Most people don't realize, but there's a statute that governs it too.
Yeah.
When you take the oath of office, you will swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of Wyoming, and faithfully perform the duties of your office. What does this commitment mean to you?
Well, the world, because that's the bond that you have with your community and with your country.
What qualities or experiences make you a strong candidate for this appointment?
A whole lot of experience. Varied job experience. The fact that I've lived here in Varna for the majority of my life is a big one.
Do you have any questions for us? Okay.
Thought of anything. Need to bring a list so I can really read it.
I should add in
Want
there,
to return the favor?
Yeah, right?
You know,
Put us in the hot seat. Well, awesome. Well,
appreciate it.
yeah, I don't.
Thanks for making up time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got us back on track.
I'm not a big talker.
I couldn't write faster than what you were talking, so.
Well, I appreciate it, Matt. Thank you.
Awesome.
And thanks for being willing to come in and do an interview.
No problem. I even dressed up. I was trying to fool you guys into thinking I was a little more professional.
I expect you to wear a tie next time.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Good night, everyone.
Blood sugar is low.
There's some M&Ms in here. It's the metaphorical.
What's wrong, man?
Well, we're going in there shortly.
We ready? Yeah, let's send her in. Let's get her done. Get her done. So I like this idea here,
Hey.
but take the popcorn out.
I know.
M&M's in.
I said I didn't want any M&Ms in there, and
Hey, sure.
there they still ended up in there.
You are in the hot seat. We're all gonna stare at you menacingly the entire time
Oh, like I'm so scared.
and ask you incredibly difficult questions. Welcome to the party.
Where's,
He brought popcorn, so he has to share.
It wasn't supposed to be funny, It was like, because, you know,
Yeah, right, Tim.
but it's like not metaphorical popcorn, it's actual popcorn, so.
I can't.
All right.
Good to see you.
Well, so we're just gonna go through, we each ask you a question, we're gonna do a
Okay.
round robin, and you answer to the best of your ability, it's not a test, it's not pass or fail. And, no wrong answers, just do the best you can. You ready? Perfect, all right. All right, what motivated you to apply for the town council position?
Because I feel that I can be of service to the community, and with my vast eclectic background and experience, you guys already know I can come up with some problems and the solutions to go with them too, so.
Perfect.
Are you able to attend regular town council meetings, work sessions, and special meetings as needed? Do you anticipate any recurring scheduling conflicts?
I usually sing with the Casper Civic Chorale on Tuesdays, but they will understand if I get the position that I'll be missing practices for a while.
Town council members are often expected to attend community events as, can talk real good tonight, such as Volunteer Appreciation Day, Easter egg hunts, 4th of July events, and other town functions. Are you willing and reasonably available to participate?
Yes.
Thank you. That was a long question.
Do you have any actual or potential conflicts of interest that could affect your service on the council?
Can't think of any.
Perfect.
Good answer.
What do you see as the town of Bar Nuns' greatest strengths and greatest challenges over the next 5 years?
Our greatest strengths are our size. It makes us very friendly with each other for the most part, and people don't seem to be hesitant to bring their issues, whatever they may be. But also, I know that we reach out and help members of our community that are unable to do some of the things the rest of us do, like yard work for seniors that can't quite do it. We can give them some help with that, things like that. And I think that's awesome. That's what a community is supposed to be. That's the foundation of the word community. I think some of our problems also stem from the fact that we have people that have been here a long time and they are like on the not in my backyard and I don't want to see anything change train. And that keeps us from growing and being more prosperous in order to help our residents. So it just, in a lot of ways, we can stop that I don't want to train by being able to restate things in a language that people will not be so off put by. Help them to change their point of view.
One of the other big aspects is the community, the way we handle our dogs and our kids. It's the community handles it as a community. It's people on the Facebook page, they know whose dog that is. So it just gets to its owner instead of calling the dog catcher to pick it up. Or somebody's kid's horsing around, it gets put out there.
Yeah, well,
Nice to have.
anybody under the age of 16 doesn't seem to be much of a problem in my neighborhood. The ones that are getting to me are like the 22 to 29 and with the big jacked up trucks and the big mufflers on them. And man, they come roaring up McMurray like it's a racetrack.
What current town project or initiative interests you the most and why?
I think if anything offhand, we're doing great. We got lots going in across on the other side of the interstate, and I think that's gonna help bring some well-needed jobs to our neighborhoods, as well as, some tax revenues. Because Loves seem to generate a whole lot of business.
Mhm. If appointed, what would be your top priorities?
I think resident safety for all ages. I came to you guys with the crosswalk thing there by the postal station on McMurray, trying to come up with a better way to control what's going on the Murray when there's pedestrians trying to walk over to the mailboxes.
We are working on that.
Yep. A raised one, yep.
Yeah, I knew you would be, because if you aren't, I'm gonna harass you.
You know where I am, right? So.
I can find you, I can find him, and I can find him, so trust me. Joy's the only one that I don't have much of a relationship with
Yet.
yet. In my
She's excited.
5+ years living out here, I kind of have made somewhat of a name for myself.
It's a good name.
Thank you.
Describe any experience you have with budgets, financial oversight, or making difficult financial decisions.
Oh, for crying out loud, I was a business owner. I was an officer of the Downtown Casper Business People's Association, and I've been members of fraternal organizations, civic organizations, been a treasurer, been a secretary, been a president. So I've had to make a lot of those kinds of decisions and be able to, I mean, I've audited books for groups, so.
What do you believe are the town's most important fiscal priorities, and how would you balance community needs with responsible spending?
Right now, I think our biggest priorities are employment opportunities, controlled growth so that it doesn't go like poison ivy, and getting our children into a school, neighborhood school where they're safe and they don't have to be on a bus for an hour and a half and one way and miss out on time with their families and doing their studies.
How do you envision Bar None's future growth, and what role should the council play in planning for growth, economic development, and maintaining the town's character?
Like I said, we've got zoning regulations in place. We've got areas where we've talked about things like defensible space around the perimeter of the community. I think there are some additional things we can do with some of that. But I like our small town, we care about each other mentality out here. And I think we need to keep that going and not go for the, well, I'm from California and this is the way we did it kind of thing. No, we're Wyoming and we don't want to be California, at least. Thank you very much.
Council members often hear differing opinions from the residents. How would you handle a situation where your personal opinion differs from that of the majority of the constituents?
I'm going to listen to what they have to say, but I am not going to lay down and be a rug either. If there are gaps in their logic, I'm likely to say, have you thought of this point? Or how would you handle it if you were in my shoes? Kind of thing. Put the ball back in their court rather than trying to defend my position all by myself. Hey, common sense ain't a rose that grows in everybody's garden, but I got all kinds of roses in my house.
Coming in very elusive. Tell us about a time you had to make a difficult or unpopular decision. How did you approach it?
Let's see, I've had to fire people from employment because they are not working, not showing up, not calling. And unfortunately, they were also a friend of my 3 kids and they were all working for me. So, you know, yeah, I've been there, done that.
That's a tough one. What do you believe is the proper role of a town council member in relation to the mayor, town staff, and the public?
Hey, we're all on a team. We have to work together. If you got a problem, I got a problem. If I've got a problem, Tim and Dan have it too, if we're all on this council together. And again, we're part of a community. We have to work for the good of the community.
How would you prepare for meetings and stay informed about issues before the council?
I watch the news. I take Facebook with a grain of salt, or 2 or 3. I try to go to people who are more experienced or more knowledgeable in areas that I'm not quite understanding and have them help me clear up my confusion. And then go from there.
Thank you.
I already know the answer to this. You've answered it. Have you previously served on any boards, commissions, nonprofits, or profits or governing bodies?
Yeah, I've been a board member for Campfire Council of Central Wyoming. I've been Downtown Merchants Association. I'm a member of the Natrona County Farm and Ranch Bureau,
What did those experiences teach you?
working with people from diverse backgrounds and being able to provide information to help them understand situations. And of course, right now, I'm also the founder of a nonprofit. And I take service dogs and train them to be, or I take rescue dogs and train them to be service dogs.
Oh, cool.
That helps reduce shelter populations and helps people that need the assistance of an animal. And it doesn't cost that person $65,000, $75,000 to get something to help them. And it keeps a good animal alive who didn't deserve to be thrown into a shelter just because somebody got tired of them or didn't get what they thought they were getting.
As a council member, there may be times when confidential information is discussed in executive session. How would you handle confidential information? I don't know how to write that. Zip.
Zips the lips.
Yep.
Loose lips sink ships and communities can go with them.
When you take the oath of office, you will swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of Wyoming, and faithfully perform the duties of your office. What does that commitment mean to you?
It means that I'm not going to go off the rails. This country was founded on freedom of religion, freedom from persecution, freedom of speech, Second Amendment rights to protect yourself and your community. And I fully believe in those. And I hate to say it, but Nancy Pelosi should have been strung up by her thumbs and incarcerated for allowing Ilhan Omar to take the oath of office on the Quran when the Constitution says the Bible.
She failed her oath.
Mm-hmm. She did. She should have been, like I said.
Strung up by her thumbs and horsewhip? That's pretty, I think that about covers
Oh,
it.
it's my turn. What qualities or experiences make you a strong candidate for this appointment?
Let's see, I've raised 4 kids. I've owned 3 different businesses. I have a cowboy for a husband. And I've put up with animals, 2-footed and 4-footed, including true 6 Charlie bulls in my front yard. So I can probably take on just about anything that's done.
Last question, funnest one. Do you have any questions for us? You don't have to have any, but if you do.
No, because I understand that this appointment only goes till November when the election occurs.
January.
Oh, January?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Unless
The
you love
appointment.
it.
It goes to the next election cycle, or not election cycle, appointment cycle.
It's like, okay, well, that's fine.
Maybe January, yeah. So it's just a couple of months.
Yeah, no big deal to me. If I have a full calendar.
Unless the person loves it and wants to be a write-in. Okay?
Well, perfect. Thank you,
you.
Cheryl. Got right through that.
Hey.
Good to see you again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Been a while.
yeah, well, you know, I've been trying to fly under the radar for a while.
Don't do very well on the trial.
No comment. You and I used to be.
Executive session.
Yeah.
Dan never gets anyone in trouble.
No, he leads and everybody's out.
Good night, Cheryl.
See you, Cheryl.
Need a motion?
Oh, when did you have a decision?
I would say probably for the next couple of days. We'll let you know.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, I
Need a
need a motion.
I
I
move.
do need emotions, actually. I don't have any.
I move that we adjourn our regular session and move to an executive session.
I second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Kelly, take roll call, please.
Peter Boyer, Mayor.
Present.
Tim Ficken, Council.
Present.
Dan Sabrowski, Council.
Present.
Joy Shane, Council.
Present.
Move to.
No, hold on. There was no action taken.
Mhm.
Now.
I motion to adjourn.
Second statement. Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Well,